My thumbnail should have said lore versus technology. Wow, this took a minute to get going today. Welcome back, folks. Hope everybody is having nothing short of an amazing Saturday morning. I know mine's been pretty awesome. Definitely thankful for the gift of life to another Sabbath day. So guys, I'll get myself out of the way here in just a moment. If you wouldn't mind in the meantime taking a moment to like, share, subscribe, comment, I always appreciate that. The gift of coffee. As soon as it hits that tongue, all is made right in the world. Hey Wanda, welcome. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were public. I've actually been on for a few minutes. But I realized when I couldn't find my feedback window to see if the stream was working that I had set it to private because I was trying something with that whole technical side of things. So yeah, that took me a minute to figure out. Kind of like, you know, putting the fans on backwards on my Zonai devices in TOTK. Same type of party. So hello, Wanda, Cora, and Marigold. Welcome, welcome, guys. I had a real awesome intro done, you know, in case anybody was wondering. Okay, but I think we're good now. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. I'm going to give it my best honest effort. Hazi, welcome. If I said that wrong, I sincerely apologize. That is my superpower in this world. Hey, Aria, welcome back. Great day for killing Ganons. I like it. Maybe that should have been the thumbnail. Good stuff. Or as I said during my intro that you guys may or may not have been able to see, was my thumbnail should have read me versus technology. So yeah, that's a tough one. I see your question there about how to kill that divine beast, Radunia, I think it's called. The one up in Death Mountain there. I don't think there is a way to do it without the proper protections. Because like things like ice weapons and things of that nature won't keep you cool enough there. So you have to either have that flame breaker, or you've got to have, you know, the elixirs working for you, unfortunately. Great question, though. But I've never found another way to keep myself safe from the temp. Hey, Boomin, welcome, welcome. Alright, just about done here. And I will get myself out of the way and we will get this thing going. So guys, I am going to do a short Q&A at the end, kind of like what I did in TOTK. I did the whole, you know, Ganondorf fight there, and then kind of afterwards I ate my ice cream, my celebratory ice cream. I'm not going to do that today, but definitely, you know, kind of hang around with you guys after the fact, 'cause it's going to be a real short stream otherwise. And yeah, just, you know, feel free to ask away, and we'll have a little bit of convo. Thought that would be fun. Just burning questions that have been on your mind about the playthrough, or you're like, why hadn't I done something earlier, or just, like, just whatever you'd like to ask, basically. I do have some new games coming up, and I hope you guys really enjoy them. They were some of my all-time favorites. So yeah, we can discuss that at the end. Hey Kathy, welcome, welcome. Good to see you this morning. So Marigold, you were playing TOTK, finishing up the Great Goddess quest, and okay, so I did not notice, to answer your question there, Marigold, about Queen Sonia's grave in the room behind the statue. I probably walked over it a few times looking for loot, but yeah, it didn't click. Wow, good stuff. I don't know if that ever would have clicked. Sometimes I'm so, like, tunnel visioned into, like, you know, looking for a Karak rock, or just, you know, one of those hard to see treasure chests or something along those lines, and then I miss the great big giant rhinoceros that's like staring me down. So yeah, that's my life. Hey Purple Rain, welcome, welcome. Alright guys, we're filling up today. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself out of the way here. I really want to get this Ganon fight done, and then like I said, we can chat away at the end here with some Q&A. Hopefully that'll be fun. And hey Keely! So nothing yet, to answer your question. Just getting my intro stuff in. Brittany Neal, hey, welcome, welcome. Ah, awesome, good, so good to know. Thank you so much for that. I'd like to hear at the end too, like, what you thought of the two playthroughs, you know, having experienced both of them. Alright guys, I will go ahead and do those things I keep talking about. Toodles. Alright, so I'm going to be away from chat window just for a few minutes here, guys. I'll do a proper intro and kind of a proper pretty cool to get in here. Welcome back, folks. Level Up Rail here with you once again. Guys, I know, the Ganon fight. It's a tough one. Before I get into it, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment to like, share, subscribe, and comment, I always appreciate that. Alright, folks, so this is one of the big questions I get asked. How do you best arm up, suit up, and eat up for this fist fight? And honestly, I don't feel like this was the way to go. I've tried it, I've used it. I felt like it was a second-rate weapon as compared to the Guardian weapons, and guys, I later found out the reason why. There's a hidden damage multiplier there, a 50% attack power boost against any Guardian-type enemy, and that is considered a Guardian-type enemy. Now, I usually prefer the Battle Axe because I just like to do my swing attack, but honestly, any Guardian weapon that's amped up will do you justice. This thing will die very, very quickly. So that's my handheld. As far as the bow goes, guys, best of the best. There's no reason to save the weapons anymore. It's the end of the game. Use them if you got them. Just go ahead and straight up arrows. As far as shield goes, now I have not personally come into this fist fight with the ancient shield, but I have a feeling this will actually do us justice in here. So what I would normally do is recommend making sure you come in here with your superpowers. Rivali's Gale. Daruk's Protection is huge in here because there's two very specific attacks he'll nail us with that will actually deflect back and knock his shield off at the end of the fist fight. So that might be actually why you're watching the video. You don't understand why you can't damage him anymore when everything you were doing before was. Now all of a sudden nothing seems to be working. He might have turned to gold color. That's his shield. So yeah, I'll show you how to knock that off. And guys, as far as like super suits and damage multipliers, ancient armor all the way, baby. I call that the ancient system, because we got the weapon matching to the enemy, matching now to the super suit. All that stuff stacks. That's an extra 80% attack power boost with that ancient proficiency. Not only that, it's got real good armor rating. It's really going to shave a lot of incoming damage off as well. On top of that, guys, you can do the attack power meal. Bada bing, bada bing. This thing is going to die very quickly. Now, I want to try to drag this fist fight out a little bit. I know I said that the first time, and then I just kind of did it quickly. It's tough to slow it down when you're dishing out the damage, I'm not going to lie. Alright, so in addition to Daruk's Protection, I'm going to try that Ancient Shield and see if that also deflects like the laser beam attacks back specifically, but there's also like another little mini fireball that moves relatively slowly. I know for a fact Daruk's Protection does that. It hits it back at him. I don't know about the shield, so again, I'm going to try to slow the fight way down, show you all his different attack patterns, give you guys some tips, tricks, anything I can think of to help give you an advantage in here during this fist fight. I don't know if I did that, I'm just doing it again so I don't have to arm up, suit up, and eat up all over again. And do be ready to go with your attack power meals too, by the way. You'll probably want to have a few of these cooked. Just in case, you know, you get drilled a few times and it's just going on too long, trying to figure out how to get it to click. It's nice to be able to stay in the fight a little longer. One last thing, guys, on the topic of, like, Divine Beast powers, I don't know if I would recommend Mipha's Grace in here. As long as you got a few fairies in your pouch, you should be golden. Again, that'll help keep you in the fight longer. But that's if you weren't quick enough to, you know, eat the healing meals. You've got the fairy as a backup to kind of give you another lifeline. So if you don't have any fairies, sure, use Mipha's Grace. But if you do have the fairies, I don't know if they come to your rescue if that's activated, or if they just stop respawning in the game. It might be safe to leave that on. So yeah, forget everything I just said. It meant nothing. Alright guys, I'm just going to kind of dive right in here. I'm going to let cutscenes play, so with that I will be super quiet in the background here. Let's get this party started.
Link. Link. I'm sorry, but my power isn't strong enough. I can't hold it.
finally come. Brace yourself, Ganon, for the sting of my revenge!
This will be our final opportunity. We will not fail.
Let's go, little guy. Now, open up wide, Ganon!
100 years in the making. Hold on, Princess. Our moment has arrived.
Alright, I know I used to complain about this fist fight, like, I never liked to do it, but that wasn't because the fight was so terrible, it was just because I didn't like ending the game. So, I mean, you gotta admit, those cutscenes were pretty freaking cool, and talk about, like, whoa. When they all just kind of knock them down half health, yeah, that was pretty amazing first time through. I'll never forget watching that experience. Alright, so it's kind of funny, they bumpered me back over to the Master Sword again, it's not for me. I more recommend the ancient weapons, especially if you've got them amped up. And in case you guys are wondering where to get these weapons, major test of strength shrines. Once you get your KO credit up high enough, those will start having weapon bonuses. Booyah. If you don't have the ancient weapons, just whatever you've got that's amped up. You know, if you got your savage weapons amped up, those are usually pretty solid choices. If you've got the bone system amped up, that might be a good solid choice, although it's probably pretty comparable to that anyway. Maybe even that's probably got it over by a little bit, not even really sure what the math is on those. But either way, guys, that'll make it all pretty comparable, and you should have a pretty easy time with this fist fight. That is assuming... You know, it's nerve-wracking. You know, your hands are going to be sweating. It's going to be definitely nerve-wracking. So when I say easy, I mean as far as getting yourself ready to go for it. That should also help with your confidence level a little bit. But guys, it's overstimulating. A lot of noise, a lot of music. One of the things I recommend trying is maybe turn your audio off. You know, just mute your TV, whatever it is you're listening on, and just watch. Don't have the music and the sound effects going. Just watch, you know, and try to do it by the mute. I do notice that helps me, you know, it reduces the stimulation just enough to give me a chance to, you know, kind of relax a little and focus. And you can go from there. Now again, I'm going to slow this fight way down, so I'm going to try to just, you know, and he might drill me here. Oh, of course he's going to do this. Okay, that's unusual. Normally he doesn't open with that attack, so yeah, really wasn't ready for that. I wanted to play with that shield. Okay, so you see with this armor I was wearing, I took a direct hit, and that's probably his most powerful attack. Okay, so it does knock him. Alright, noted. So guys, it's worth its weight in gold. This ancient shield, it's kind of pricey. I think it's 1,000 rupees, and I think you need a giant ancient core to purchase it, but it's worth its weight in gold. So if you can just keep getting him knocked, actually I'm kind of curious to see what that tornado damage would be like. I missed it. Oh well. Yeah, wow, he's throwing out all the stops. So basically, if you keep in mind that he cannot dish out anything that you have not already seen before, that should also help you kind of relax a little bit and know what to look for. Every single attack he's doing right now is kind of like a hybrid of all the Ganons. So all of your Blight Ganons, you know, the Wind Blight Ganon and the Ice Tea Blight Ganon and the Electricity Blight Ganon and whatever the other Ganon is. So yeah, he's gonna, and here it is, guys. There's the Ruta, the Zora. So now you can use all the same tricks I've already showed you for all these other divine beasts. You know, if I really wanted, I could stasis that. I could swing it back over at him. I don't know if my spear is gonna get up there, but I'll try. So yeah, all the other tricks we used in all those Divine Beast fights I showed you, you can absolutely pull out all those stops during this Calamity Ganon fight. Now see, it's kind of funny, he's doing all the, you know, he's throwing out all the stops this time. When I tried to show this in my first walkthrough of this Ganon fight, he wouldn't do anything! He was just kind of doing the same old thing the whole time. I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm just gonna kill him. Like, it was ridiculous! So this is actually pretty cool that I can actually slow this way down and show you guys all this stuff. So now, the Ancient Shield, guys, again, worth its weight in gold. The bad thing about Daruk's Protection is you've only got 2 shots with that. So, yeah. And then, of course, once you got him knocked, you can just go over there and start wailing on him. So, you can also catch certain updrafts in different attacks. The bad thing is I always seem to light myself on fire when I'm trying to catch said updrafts. So, the good thing is they stick around for a little bit. You don't necessarily have to run right into the flame. So if bullet time is your thing, guys, you've got updrafts. Not only that, you know, don't forget about your Rivali's Gale. That does work in here, but I just kind of found through, you know, trial and error and by accident that I didn't do well up along the side walls. So I would want to pop that Rivali's probably closer to the middle here. Oh, there it is, guys! The Flame Ball attack! Okay, so this... Okay, that does not work... Ooh, he trashed my shield. Okay, so yeah, that does not work for the Ancient Shield. But that does work with Daruk's Protection. So there's 2 ways to get his shield off at the end. And that is going to be with that laser beam attack that I show you the Ancient Shield also deflected. So either or will work good for that. And then that slow-moving fireball attack that you just saw, Daruk's Protection will also deflect that back and knock him, giving you another opportunity to kind of just go over there and wail on him. So anyway, since I don't have my Ancient Shield anymore, it's really not a big deal. I just wanted to show another way, another option. And I am not going to use the Daruk's Shield while he is in this mode. He doesn't have a shield on right now. So, that is notable because you don't want to waste your Daruk's Protection. You only got 3 shots with that. So right now, while he doesn't have his shield activated, guys, just however you want to get after him. You can just, you know, kind of stand here and plug him with your bow, especially if you have that Savage Bow, guys. It's going to do a lot of damage. But yeah, if you can, you know, catch your updraft, do some bullet time, smack him in the face. That'll knock him. Oh, ouch. It will not knock him. Stand by. I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong there. Hey, notice, guys, I've been getting drilled. I really am not showing a lot of damage right now. Like, that's another thing that should be able to help you relax a little bit. You're going to be in this fight for a while, assuming you've got, you know, decent armor rating going into this thing. And that's where the ancient armor really helps. I was so focused on that updraft, I didn't even care about the incoming. And now I'm just getting rolled for no reason. Okay. Ouch! Poor Link. That one was on me, buddy. Sorry. Alright, you know, speaking of, you know, staying topped off on health, I am going to go ahead and eat one of my many meals. Again, it's the end of the game. No reason to worry about trying to save meals anymore. I don't think stasis works on this guy. Whoops. I kind of want to see, though. Oh, wow, it does. Just for a few seconds. That's interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to basically try to do here is get an updraft, and I want to kind of replay that with getting in his face here. Right in his face, guys. Pow! Look at that damage. That is absolutely insane. And then we're already into his next attack pattern. Crazy amount of damage. So yeah, if you don't feel like, you know, trying to knock him with deflecting the laser beam attack via Ancient Shield, just remember bullet time. Now, I could have used Rivali's there anytime, you know, so just depending on your playstyle, there are different options here. Okay, guys, so here it is. Here's that pesky shield I keep talking about. And yeah, I know, it's a doozy. Like, you're sitting here trying to get this done, you can't figure out why you're not damaging him anymore. The game isn't really clear that he's shielded, and you gotta knock him. So this is where I'm gonna put my Daruk's back on, because I've only got 2 shots, guys. So yeah, those 2 attacks I showed you, Daruk's will deflect both of those. And not only will it deflect them, but it'll knock him. So check this out. Pow pow. Get over there, quickly, wail on him. Now guys, there's 2 hit points. You got his body, and you got that big cannon thing that's laying down flat on the ground to my right. So I've got 2 hit points, which is another reason I prefer the two-handed swinging weapon. This is ball game, guys. he's a goner. He won't even have a chance to get back up, and that is DUN done. So folks, I genuinely hope that all helped you out, and I hope it helps you all out. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to like the video, I always appreciate that.
Ganon was born out of a dark past. He is a pure embodiment of the ancient evil that is reborn time and time again. He has given up on reincarnation and assumed his pure, enraged form. If set free upon our world, the destruction will be unlike anything it has seen before. Entrust you with the bow of light, a powerful weapon in the face of evil. Link, you may not yet be at a point where you have fully recovered your power, or all of your memories. But courage need not be removed, for it is never forgotten.
Alright guys, very first thing you're going to want to do here is equip that bow, because I can't tell you how many times I've just, you know, gotten shiny rocked and not really paying attention to that fact, and then I'm just plugging in with arrows trying to figure out what's going wrong. So yeah, just first thing, get that out of the way. Now the funny thing is, you know, in older Zelda games, guys, Ganon is no joke. He's mobile. In this game, he just kind of, I don't know, stands there. It's like he's landlocked. So it's not a real tough Ganon fight as compared to other games.
But my power is waning. Attack any glowing points that you see.
So yeah, we're basically waiting for Zelda to open up some hit points right now, so just kind of, you know, wait out the clock, unfortunately. Not much we can do in the meantime.
Aim for a
There it is. Okay, now get over there, guys. This is where Stam is going to help you out. And you're aiming for his body, not necessarily the image or whatever that's kind of like outside of his body. Oh, I missed the leg! Jeepers. Oh, it looks like I missed the body shot too. Double jeepers. Okay, so maybe I should have been a little closer when I loosed my arrows. Make sure I was a little bit more accurate there. But you see, guys, you got plenty of time. They really give you a lot of leeway here on this one. Maybe they were worried it would be just too terrifying, you know, so... Yeah, I don't know, I just felt this was quite easy once I figured out what you had to do. It was the figuring out what I had to do part that made it difficult. And I'm sorry, but if this was like really Ganon, he would be just rampaging. This whole area would already be destroyed. And Link would already be a pancake. But again, they just really kind of locked him in place for us, so it really eases up the fight. Okay, make sure I actually get my hit points this time. So there should be a little glowing spot on the body. And that's what you're trying to take out. Booyah. Okay, so there's going to be one more under the body. We just need to wait on Zelda here. There it is. So a lot of it is just a patience game. Okay guys, this final one, again, this was another part I kind of got stuck on because I couldn't figure out what I had to do. Basically, there's shutters on his eyes that are going to open, but if they're only like half open, it's not going to work, and that's where I got stuck. So you basically just got to be patient, wait for them to completely and fully open. Right there. As soon as that eyeball actually pops out, go ahead and plug that with an arrow, and that is ball game. So folks, I genuinely hope that helps you all out. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to like, share, subscribe, comment, I always appreciate those things. And until the next time, best of luck and happy hunting.
I've been keeping watch over you all this time. I've witnessed your struggles to return to us, as well as your trials in battle. I always thought, no, I always believed that you would find a way to defeat Ganon. I never lost faith in you over these many years. Thank you, Link. The hero of Hyrule. May I ask, do you really remember me?
Alright, guys. I'll go ahead and, I know I got a lot of chat to catch up on here that's going to take a hot second. And I will just let credits play out, kind of like what I did before. That's going to be a problem. Keely, wait, before we go. Yeah, I know, sorry about that. Just read that. So yeah, I know, quicker playthrough. I wasn't super thorough with all the region looting, you know. In my mind, I kind of already showed that. I just wanted to modernize the playthrough to show folks just how to get there. You know, the most direct route to the god weapons and, you know, the superpower Link. And all that fun stuff, so yeah, definitely a shorter playthrough. But now it's done, it's modernized. And that really focused on non-DLC users. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm happy it was brief, if I'm being honest. Hey Leah, welcome, welcome. That, Keely, no arm up, suit up, and eat up. What? Yeah, that one was broken. Mohammed Job, welcome, welcome. Junior 2K, what's up? I finally been to every beast area. Okay, awesome. The Yiga area. You might be talking about the Yiga hideout there. A lot of loot in there. It is absolutely insane. Yeah, Keely, so I was just reading your chat there about, you know, the castle is epic in general. Yeah, I remember my first castle raid. I was just blown away. It was insane how much, like, work went into that castle in and of itself. And then, yeah, the cutscenes, gorgeous. Holly, welcome, welcome. Heck yeah, happy to have you. Yeah, Keely, that's a good call. If you don't have the updraft or, you know, Rivali's left, you know, you can always do the wall climb. Good call on that. To get your bullet time. Keely. Yeah, I know what you mean, though. Running away in horror. And they've got you trapped in there. It's not like you can go far, so yeah, that was, like, terrifying. Yeah, Boomin', what's up? Yep, beautiful game indeed. Definitely one of my forever games. And guys, speaking of forever games, I'll get into that in just a moment. Just a couple of things I wanted to point out before I get into the Q&A. So it's funny, most Zelda games, if not all Zelda games, Link needs the power that seals the darkness to take care of Ganon. But in this game, it's all Zelda. Like, Zelda opens up the hit points. Zelda gives us the light bow. Like, it's all Zelda in this game, and Link wasn't even really necessary, other than to, you know, be her proxy and do the handwork. But anyway, yeah, it just kind of clicked today. I was like, wait, the sword the power that seals the darkness was never needed. I never even used it. Yeah, they give it to you. Yeah, you can use it, but pretty wild to think that it was kind of a flip-flop in that respect. Another thing I noticed, too, for the first time on this playthrough, I've been playing the game for, you know, thousands of hours, but I just now noticed this, too. In Twilight Princess, I think it was, when we were finally done with whatever fight we had to do inside the castle there, Link turns into, like, a light, like a little firefly ball or something, and warps out to the Hyrule Field. The exact same thing just happened. I was like, oh wow, that was a play right out of Twilight Princess. Very cool. I know, right, Marigold? Yeah, the horse, that... I didn't have my mini-map, and see, I was so hardwired to look at my mini-map to know where my horse was. And in the middle of a fight like that, it's hard to find it. Like, it kind of blends in, you know, you overlook it easily. So yeah, it was kind of hard for me the first few times I did this fight, considering my horse. I would jump off, I would get my bullet time, and then it was like, whoa, you know, what's going on? Definitely a learning curve there. The giant Ganon pig in high heels. If they use that exact wording in the new Zelda movie, you should claim royalties. We saw it here first. Oh, you meant writing and shooting. Yeah, I can't do it. I cannot write and shoot. I'm already a moving object, and then sometimes the targets are moving targets. There's a mini game in this game that I could never do, where you had to ride around on your horse and shoot targets. Yeah. Especially when you're timed. Like, no. Not okay. No, Area, I actually didn't pull one single ancient arrow out. I did regular arrows all the way. I've actually never tried using an ancient arrow in here. It would be interesting to see what would happen. It might knock them. I never did try that. Interesting thought, though. Alright, guys, so I guess I'll just go ahead and open it up to Q&A sesh. While the credits play out here. Oh, while you're thinking about questions, I mentioned new games earlier today. So guys, I keep talking about my forever games, and these are the games I can come back to. Play again, still, you know, have all the fun I had in the first playthrough. Breath of the Wild, one of them. Skyrim, that's another one. The new Star Wars Outlaws, that's on the list now. I am loving that game. So much fun. Not only is the game fun to play, it's fun to watch. Like, the cutscenes, the NPC interactions, the humor, guys, it's all there. It's such a fun game. So yeah, you know, just check out my other playlists, you know, if you're wanting some fresh content to give a try. I would definitely start with Star Wars Outlaws. Now, the very opening scene in that game, it's a little bit shady, you know. They show this crime syndicate gathering, and he kind of executes them all. They don't actually show them, but, you know, you hear the sound effects, and you know what's happening. So, yeah, you know, oops. Quiet, shh. Well, that kind of just sucked the joy right out of what I was talking about. Jeepers.
We'll make our way to Zora's domain. Divine Beast Varuta. Looks like it's stopped working. Let's investigate the situation. Miva's father. I believe he would like to hear more about her. The least we can do is visit him and offer him some closure. Although Ganon is gone for now, there is still so much more for us to do, and so many painful memories that we must bear. I believe in my heart that if all of us work together, we can restore Hyrule to its former glory. Perhaps even beyond, but it all must start with us. Let's be off. I can no longer hear the voice inside the sword. I suppose it would make sense if my power had dwindled over the past 100 years. I'm surprised to admit it, but I can accept that.
Alright, now hopefully the cutscene stuff is done. Oh yeah, wow, that's the game. Okay, so I wish I could show you something more exciting here while we were chatting. But yeah, anyway, that Star Wars, so don't judge it by the very first opening scene. It was kind of like Skyrim, it kind of made me squeamish. But, I wanted to get past that and see what the game was like, so of course I continued. But yeah, that's pretty much the worst of it, is that opening scene. The rest is just good old-fashioned Star Wars watching, and again, the humor's there. It's just a lot of fun. As far as other games go, I am probably going to be doing, guys, I saw an announcement for Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Very fun games. I can't say they're forever games because, they're so old now and they're on older systems, but they're going to be on Switch and Switch 2. And I'm kind of wanting to replay them. They're fun. They're family friendly. They're, at least I remember for its time, they were absolutely beautiful. I had never seen colors like that in a video game before. It was mind-blowing how gorgeous that game was. Me and the kids just had a lot of fun, doing family time together around that game. I played it many times through. Like, it's that fun. It was one of those games where you'd get to the end, and then you'd immediately start a new game and get right back into it. So yeah, just, I'm highly considering doing Super Mario Bros. Galaxy and Super Mario Bros. Galaxy 2. Haven't nailed that down and decided yet, because, guys, Metroid Prime 4, it's coming. December 4th. And the Galaxy the Super Mario Galaxy games come out, I think, as a bundle. You get both on the 4th of October, which is right around the corner. That's like 2 weekends away exactly from today, as a matter of fact. That's 2 Saturdays from now. So yeah, in exactly 2 weeks that game would launch. And again, I'm considering it. So I'd love to hear thoughts on that. And guys, in comments below, please share your thoughts on, this playthrough versus my playthrough from 8 years ago. Goods, bads, and uglies. I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts. If there's burning questions out there, guys, I'm an open book. Feel free to ask away. So Keely asked if I'm planning to do any DLC content for BOTW. Yeah. there's a lot to that. Now, I've been on the fence about this. So again, I wanted this playthrough to kind of focus on non-DLC users. I've already got the walkthroughs there for the DLC stuff. You know, I did it 8 years ago. I did it in master mode. Do I want to do it again now? I've really been, like, no kidding, on the fence about this. I kept talking about wanting to do it because I enjoy it so much. But, you know, at the same time, I don't want to keep recycling content. The only reason I would really have to redo the DLC stuff now at this point would just be to modernize, like, the video quality. But, you know, I've already done it twice, so, you know, as a creator, it's kind of hard to know where that line is sometimes. You know, I don't want to keep recycling old material too much unless there's a good reason for it. So maybe I'm just, you know, maybe I'll be open to feedback on that. And, you know, one way or another, whether I do the Galaxy stuff, I think I'll still hold to my Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, at noon for the meat game, which right now is Breath of the Wild. I know I talked about modernizing Tears of the Kingdom and redoing that playlist, not only to modernize it, but to make it more, you know, direct. I really dragged that playthrough out, you know, getting every little region, doing a lot of the like theory stuff, you know, experimenting, whatever. So, you know, there would be reasons to redo TOTK. But again, guys, that's a long game. That's not a quick game. And with Metroid Prime 4 coming up in 2 months, I already know TOTK has no chance of getting done. Even if I started today and streamed every day, it's just that big of a game. It's like another Skyrim. So, I don't know when I'm going to do TOTK, but that is still on the list. Okay, gotcha, Keely. So you would like to see the DLC stuff. If nothing else, the monk fight and the Master Sword Trials. Yeah, those are big ones. Okay, got you, Marigold. Boomin, do I want you to do it again? Yes. Marigold, you said talking about the video quality. I watched a bit earlier in the week. The video quality is so much better. You mean better like now, like today? Or it was better last week? Because I've been through the ringer on technology with all this stuff. Marigold, I'm so glad it's catching on. Your words are broken. Welcome to the family. That's a problem. So it's funny because, you know, sometimes my words are just like legitimately broken, and then sometimes my fingers get broken, and then I have to retype it 50 times, especially on my cell phone. Because I have sausage fingers, according to my daughter. Sausage fingers. So 88-bit, if you're watching, you are not wrong. So Kathy, you loved watching the No Man's Sky. Good to know. Yeah, that's another good game. Like, vivid colors, beautiful scenes. And give the monks some bananas. You know, it's funny, Keely. Somebody else told me about that. It might have been Brad 6360, maybe. You know, sometimes I'm bad when I go that far back. But yeah, somebody else reached out and asked me if I had ever tried the bananas. I was like, no, never even crossed my mind. So yeah, that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, guys, as far as that video quality goes, I'm kind of back to the old system now. Before I did anything different last week, same old hardware, same old everything. You know, I've been complaining about this from day one on my channel when, you know, you guys had asked me to come back a couple of years ago and I started doing TOTK. I knew right then and there something was wrong. And I talked about it. You know, the colors aren't there. It's whitewashed. It's the textures aren't there. You know, it was just not okay. But going back to that time, you know, I went through the same thing with technology, just trying this, trying that, trying different settings, trying different hardware. This capture card, that capture card. It was ridiculous. You know, I just finally accepted defeat and I just let it go because I couldn't figure out how to fix it. But I've been working on it just quietly in the background. So anyway, fast forward until last week, I tried adding more viewing options to YouTube because YouTube automatically like makes many copies of anything I do. So if I upload a video, if I stream something, YouTube makes, you know, 20 different copies of that. It'll do a copy in like 780p. It'll do a copy in 1080p. It'll do a copy in 2K. It'll do a copy in, you know, up to however high I streamed or uploaded in. If you want to add HDR to that, it would just show up as another option in YouTube. That's the way it's supposed to work. So in other words, like, it shouldn't affect anybody's viewing quality unless you have a higher grade viewing device. Then, you know, you would be shown those options for higher grade viewing. So if anything, it should have only been an improvement. But last week, you know, running that new hardware, I knew, again, something was wrong. I'm like, why is this so difficult? So anyway, long story short, I once again just had to accept defeat. I can't get it working right. Either it's way over, you know, way oversaturated and the lights are just way too bright and the darks are just way too dark. It just doesn't look right. If I get rid of that tone mapping, then it goes back to SDR looking and there's no HDR there and it's just a complete waste. So anyway, you know, I'm just going to keep working on that stuff in the background. I would at least like to bring you good, you know, better SDR quality, even if the HDR never comes to fruition, because it never has matched. And, you know, I hear a lot of other YouTubers complaining about this. It's like the technology just isn't there unless you have like an actual, no kidding, Disney studio setup. Like, you know, these great big massive computers that cost billions of dollars. You know, no YouTuber is ever going to get their hands on that kind of equipment. So anyway, you know, I'm doing my best with this stuff. I'm learning as I go. I'm sorry that, you know, last weekend's streams were just hard on the eyes. They were not right. But again, I'll keep working on it. One of my goals is to try to get there. You know, if not now, one of these days. But at least for now, you know, it's good enough. And you're right, it is better than it was. From last weekend especially. Marigold, yeah, the bananas thing. Just in case you guys are wondering, Marigold said those poor monks, bananas would do them good, basically. Your poor mummies. Yeah. Oh, the thing has a very short timer on it, doesn't it? Hey, Countess! Welcome, welcome! Long time no see. Oh, yep, doing well indeed. Thank you so much for asking. Glad you can make it today. We're just doing a little bit of a Q&A sesh right now. That was pretty much ball game, so... I know I talked about, you know, going around and doing some random bad boy nests tomorrow, just for fun, you know, just a casual little bit of BOTW lore style gameplay, you know, running around with my hair on fire, screaming. But yeah, I've got a few bad boy nests in mind, so that'd be a lot of fun tomorrow, just to kind of finish out the weekend, you know, still sticking to BOTW here, non-DLC at least. And then maybe next weekend I'll just do some DLC stuff. And go from there. Yeah, Countess, I have been busy. A lot of new stuff coming. As far as the Super Mario Galaxy that I talked about a bit ago, I kind of got sidetracked there with train of thought. But yeah, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have played it or have ever seen it. And I don't know if it would even look that beautiful anymore, you know, for its time. I just remember it was mind-blowing how gorgeous it was. Just the vivid colors, the textures, it was gorgeous. And I loved flying through space. And the worlds and the star bits falling out of the sky. It was just a gorgeous game. For its time, again, you know, now playing it might just feel boring. I don't really know. But anyway, if you guys, you know, do have experience with that game, let me know, you know, if you'd like to see that. Or maybe I can even just, you know, try a video and see what you guys think of it that way. But the only thing I'm apprehensive about getting it on the Switch is its controller. It's joystick and buttons. And, you know, I learned how to play that game on the Wii. And especially for, like, Mario's spin attack, you had to shake the Wii remote. And he would do his little spin attack, and that did a lot in the game. You know, that would activate flowers and other things to get star bits. If a star bit fell near you and they were all bouncing around, you could do the spin attack and collect them. You could shoot star bits, you know. And again, that was motion. Everything was motion based. So it's going to be a learning curve if I do try to play those games on, no kidding, Pro Controller versus the old Wii. I'll figure it out, but yeah, it'll definitely take some getting used to. So yeah, guys, I know Zelda's coming to an end, and guys, I'm prioritizing Metroid Prime 4, so I'm sorry I'm not going to jump back right into more Zelda. But that Metroid Prime 4, you know, getting back to forever games and some of my all-time favorites, I absolutely loved the Metroid Prime series. Metroid Prime, then there was Metroid Prime Echoes, then there was Metroid Prime Corruption, I think it was called. But that one was only on Wii. It did not go backwards to the GameCube. But again, beautiful games for their times. The colors vivid, the graphics gorgeous. You had the feeling you were really on big, giant alien worlds. Metroid Prime 4, I think, is going to be more open world. They're giving us a motorcycle. That tells me mobility. That tells me wide open spaces. And guys, I hope so. Because one of the things I've been worried about is Metroid Prime 4 feeling like a 20-year-old game. I didn't want that. You know, they were great for their time, but fast forward 20 years, we've had bigger and better. So yeah, I hope it's more open. Yeah, I'm just really excited to give it a try. But again, I don't want to get back into another Zelda playthrough right now because of that. And I feel like possibly the Super Mario Galaxy games would be a good fill-in. Not only that, they're just lighthearted, you know, they're fun family entertainment. Not only that, we've got the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out next year. So, you know, my mind's kind of wrapped around this Mario Galaxy right now. But again, I want to know your thoughts on that, because ultimately you guys are the one watching content. You know, I want to be putting out things that you guys are actually interested in seeing. Wow, that thing really has a short fuse on it. Hey, Lisa, welcome, welcome. You caught us at the tail end here. It's Q&A sesh. Keely. Yeah, so, next weekend. Next weekend. I think I have to do the Great Plateau part in order to get access to the Master Sword Trials. We can do anytime. But the monk fight, I think we have to do the Great Plateau part first in order to get access into the Divine Beast. Now, it might not be that simple. See, it's been a long time since I've done the trials. We might have to go around and do all the regions to unlock that Divine Beast. So there might be more involved with that. I might have to do them all, in other words, in order to get to those things. I'll have to do some more research. If I don't have to do all of it, like if I don't have to do all the regions and all the extra shrines and all the extra, you know, Divine Beast challenges all over again, and I can just go straight to the Divine Beast on the Great Plateau to get the motorcycle and do the monk fight, that would probably be the route I would go. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that. But yeah, if that's the case, like I could do the Great Plateau challenge with those extra shrines Friday, and then say do the monk fight and the Divine Beast on Saturday, and then do the Master Sword trial, say, on Sunday. Yeah, Countess, Metroid Prime 4. I like the cookie. Finally got a release date. And the funny thing was, I remember when I announced it, like the day before, I had checked it, you know, because I always check it the night before I go to bed. Just because that's usually when I catch up on news or whatever to wind down. So anyway, I had checked it that night. No release date. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I get on the next morning, I'm streaming. I'm like, yeah, still no release date. Well, apparently, like, while I was streaming, the Nintendo Direct thing came out and announced Metroid Prime 4 release date. See, I found out later that day. I think Jim Lewis reached out and emailed me. And I was like, bro, I just checked that last night. Unbelievable. But yeah, December the 4th. Metroid Prime 4. And I am ready. You have no idea. I am ready. I'm ready! I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Alright guys, I don't want to just drag this on, you know, too long. I kind of feel like I'm just talking in circles now with new game stuff. But unless there's any other burning questions out there, one of the most common questions I get asked in comments is, why don't I have the Master Sword yet? Why don't I have the Master... I know! I don't like it! Sorry! You know, there's better weapons in Hyrule, which is a real shame. But, you know, once I get the bone system going, there's really no point in worrying about the Master Sword anymore anyway. Then, you know, for all the Ganons and the Calamity Ganon, again, there's just better weapons. So, it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Snicker Fritz! I know, Wanda, that is such a random word, like... I know, that's not one of my more common ones. That's probably one of my more rare ones. You need to start saying Snicker Fritz more often. Wow, 2 days in a row, Wanda. That is crazy. That would come up twice. Yep, guys, I'll go ahead and I think bid you all farewell here at this point. Again, just we can kind of let our hair down a little tomorrow. No agenda, no plan, nothing to do in the way of like trying to rack my brain and think of everything I'll have to say. It's just going to be more of a relaxed... I might even keep my picture in that one, you know, just to kind of goof off a little and have a little fun. I'll hit some of my more favorite bad boy nests in the game. And just kind of go around and goof off a little. So yeah, should be fun. Good way to end a weekend. Awesome, Keely. Yeah, that Metroid Prime 4, it is a lot of fun. It's quite a different game than Zelda. You know, I grew up with Nintendo, so Metroid was one of those games. I don't really know another game I can equate it to. Like, as far as the gameplay, it's basically... It's just kind of its own thing. It's more of a first-person shooter game, definitely. The 3 Metroid Primes before were definitely like, you know, first-person, no character in the way in the image at all. Just kind of, you know, point and shoot at enemies. There's different weapon sets. There's different upgrades like missiles and stuff. It's not a blood and guts kind of game, you know, so it's a good game as far as that kind of stuff goes, but it is probably a little bit more mature, just in the sense, you know, it's probably more violence, I guess, more cartoon violence. So we'll have to see what that ends up being. Actually, I think it's already been rated, and I think it was rated T for teen. I'm going to have to double check that. In fact, you might want to Google that. Don't take my word for it, because, you know, it's been a minute now since I looked that up, but I do know it got a rating. Yeah, absolutely, Wanda. Happy to do it. And thank you all so much for hanging out. Definitely appreciate it. I know, right, Countess? Yeah, it was a quicker playthrough, no doubt. Alright, guys, so I'll just bid you all farewell. One last time, if you wouldn't mind, just as a friendly reminder, take a moment, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave comments below after this video posts. I'd love to hear all your thoughts, guys. First playthrough versus second playthrough, new games. Anything on your mind, please feel free to throw it in comments. I'd really, really, really like to hear your thoughts. Alright, guys. Peace out, y'all.